Well, here it comes.
It's that fourth and roll, yeah, we ride real slow. Texas bass hitting while the Carolina flow. From the whistles to the winds, every tale they record. Adam and Jack hold it down on fourth and ward. Southside swing with the coach and Lord. Real life stories, yeah, they back for more. Turn the beat up loud, let the truth restore. You locked in now with the fourth and ward.
All right, guys, we have a special guest on Fourth and Ward. We've got the Adam Schefter of Texas high school football, Mr. Matt Stepp himself. Matt, I appreciate you joining us tonight. I know you were just getting wrapped up with the state semifinal basketball game.
Yeah, I was watching a game online. It was a really good game. It's about a minute left. It was Hearn and St. Augustine, so I was keeping it up with that. And then I'm actually covering a state semifinal basketball game tomorrow, and then I'll be down in San Antonio Friday and Saturday for the boys basketball state championships. I'm a football guy, but helping out a little bit on the basketball end. I swoop in the playoffs and help out a little bit here and there, and get to watch some great basketball, and just love watching kids compete. And it doesn't matter what it is, and you start getting in the playoffs in Texas high school basketball, and the basketball gets really good. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's legit. Like I'm doing powerlifting this year as my second sport, but for the last 4 or 5 years, I was doing basketball. And I get here and basketball gets rolling. And I'm like, man, I thought Texas high school football was like legit. Like some of the basketball around here is insane. Some of the environments and all that you get into, the Lancasters of the world and DeSoto's and all that. Like,
It's great basketball in Dallas and Houston, and then you even get out like Texas Panhandle, great small school basketball, packed houses. You see on Twitter highlights, it's packed gyms, and you think we were in Indiana or something.
Yeah. Speaking of Twitter, so before I even moved out of Texas, I remember seeing your name popping up on my feed as I kind of started to follow people in the Texas high school football scene, before I made the move out here. And I'm sitting there like, man, this guy has the scoops on everything. For the folks that maybe aren't from Texas, I mean, Matt, you are putting out all kinds of, I was trying to describe it to Jack, like it'll be like 2-3 days a week before some news actually drops and you're already getting the rumors about it. I can't imagine what your DMs look like on Twitter. Like, is it getting gnarly?
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of. My wife gets upset with me because she's like, "Is football season ever stop?" And I'm like, "No, honey, it really doesn't." And text messages are coming in all the time, and yeah, I mean, it's a lot, but I wouldn't trade it. I mean, they pay me to watch football and be a part of Texas high school football is I view it as an honor, and so to have the respect of the coaches and to be trusted by the coaches means a lot to me, because I mean, I've gotten to know coaches I'm getting old now. I mean, I've been kind of covering high school football for like 20 years. And so it didn't happen overnight, and I know coaches aren't easy to trust, especially when it comes to the media. And so I think it's a real honor, but it's busy and it's just taking relationships, journalism it's probably nothing like coaching, except that it is for one thing, it's a relationship business, and you build relationships. As a journalist, you have to be good as long as you're fair. I think most of them, they may not like it, but they'll respect it and understand it, because they understand just like they've got a job to do, you've got a job to do, and as long as you're fair in that job, I think you can build relationships and trust, and it enables me to be connected and maybe break news most of the time that others wouldn't, just because coaches trust me with that information and trust talking to me.
Yeah, no doubt. I was kind of interested to hear what your story was. Like, how did you kind of get into this role that you're in now? Like, if you kind of start us from way back when, and just like, what were all those things along the way that kind of got you in this position that you're in now?
Yeah. Obviously, I grew up in South Fort Worth, and parents didn't have a lot of money, and so we couldn't afford to go to Cowboys games, or even as terrible as TCU was when I was a kid, we couldn't go to TCU football games. Where what we did on Friday nights is we would go to my local high school games, because there was a little road behind the end zone that my dad, he had a big old truck, and so we would park in the end zone and sit on top of his truck and watch the game for free from the truck. And then at halftime, the ticket takers would go in, but then we'd go into the game for free.
Hey.
And my high school team was, where I grew up, it was very good, and they've been very good for a long time. They've fallen on some hard times recently, but for about 40 years there, they were a powerhouse in the Metroplex. Everman High School, and we, won a couple of state championships, and went to this 3 or 4 state semifinals. Had some good runs, and so had to put some guys in the NFL and things like that. So that's where I think my first those guys were heroes to me as a little kid. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, and so growing up, I thought I wanted to, when I realized that, I wasn't going to play professional sports. I did play a little JUCO basketball, but, kind of thought I wanted to be a coach. And so went to school to be a coach and get my teacher certificate and get into coaching. But, doing my student teaching, I quickly realized that the classroom wasn't really an environment I wanted to be in. And a lot of my mentors that were coaches told me, if you don't like being in the classroom, probably not going to be the place to be for you as a career, because you're going to be miserable. So I got out. A girl I was dating at the time put my resume up, and I got a job at a mortgage company and started working in 9 to 5. But in the meantime, this was 2003, 2004. Started posting on internet message boards. Twitter wasn't around, Facebook wasn't around. It was message boards, right? You post on the message boards. And so I'd post on message boards and kind of post my thoughts on football games that were happening around the area, and started to kind of educate myself on teams outside of Dallas and that kind of thing. And a guy that worked, so at the time it was rivals.com. They had a Texas high school football site. It was called Texas Prep Extra. And the editor's name was Alan Zapata. And he kind of emails me out of the blue and just like, hey man, like, a lot of the stuff that you write, like I see you're well researched, and a lot of the stuff you write actually ends up happening. Like your analysis is really good. Like, what you're talking about. It's like, if you ever thought about getting into writing. And I was like, no, I mean, I always was pretty good at writing. I was an English minor and, that kind of thing, but never really thought about it. And he was like, can't really pay you, but I can get you a media badge and you can go to games and cover the games for us. And, maybe you'll get a free press box meal occasionally, that kind of thing. And I was 24 years old, 25 years old. And so free meal, I'm there, right? So
Yeah.
started covering games and over time, ended up moving from there to old coach. And after a couple of years, I was getting like $100 a month, and then it kind of grew to $500 a month. And I was like, okay, this is enough to cover my gas, and just kind of grew over time. And then I started working for the old coach. And that's where I think really my, started working with the old coach and got kind of more in tune with the coaches, and because it was a coach-centered message board at the time, and a lot of coaches, Texas high school coaches, posted on there. So I ended up kind of developing a little bit of a following, and coaches began to confide in me and send me stuff in direct messages and that kind of thing. And then I started covering 7-on-7 originally. This is like in 2007, 2008. Nobody was really covering 7-on-7 at the time. It was going on. I'm talking school 7-on-7, not like club 7-on-7. Started to kind of meet a lot of coaches, and you think about it, like you go to a 7-on-7 tournament, there's 16 coaches in one place right there. And so you could quickly, and coaches are the kind of people I feel like they're not real easy to trust by nature as it is. They're definitely not going to trust you if you're just some face on the internet or some jackwagon with the backwards cap that they'd never met before. And so getting to meet those guys, shake their hands, they size me up, figure out that I'm actually a real person and I'm a decent guy. They start to trust you a little bit more. And then, over time, you just kind of build relationships, and you do what you say you're going to do, and you kind of earn that trust. And over time, coaches talk. Like that's one thing my wife's always like, you and your coaches are always gossiping about something. Coaches talk. Coaches talk to each other. And they're like, hey, this guy Stepp, he's not so bad. You can trust him. He's a good guy in the media to kind of get to know, that kind of thing. And it just kind of organically grew over time. And it's weird because I don't have a traditional journalism background. I didn't go to J school. But one thing I did do is, as a young reporter, at first, it was hard to get media credentials because you would call and you'd tell them who you were with, and they didn't know who that was. You're just an internet reporter. They're used to the newspaper and the radio and TV. And so when I would get into games and I would sit next to real journalists, right, like guys from the Star Telegram, guys from Dallas Morning News, that kind of thing, I would listen to those guys. Just like young coaches are supposed to listen to old coaches, I would listen to those old journalists and pick up things here or there and kind of learn the ins and outs of like true journalism. So I would kind of combine that with kind of my style, being, real out front with coaches. And it just kind of over time organically grew into something pretty big. And I think, I got on Twitter at the right time, 2011, 2012, I think is when I started my Twitter account and started to kind of build through that. So I think it's a product of I was definitely at the right place at the right time, because if I was 10 years older, there had been a bunch of people doing the same thing that I was doing, but I was kind of ahead of the curve in that regard. And it just kind of worked out organically. I don't think I did anything special other than, I really love what I do and I worked hard and I tried to be a man of my word.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that, like, just enjoying what you do, like, you know, I don't know about you, Jay, but, like, people all the time are like, "How can you guys, like, be with some of these school kids all day and do this, that, and the other?" And I'm like, "I don't know, of course, I think I could have been happy being a garbage man, but, it's just I just enjoy it." So it really helps pass the time for sure, and it really helps you just enjoy every single day. It takes away from some of that grind part of it, but I can only imagine, like, would you say you've been to, I mean, every corner of Texas, covering all these different high schools and things like that?
Yeah, I think I've been in every part of the state. I think I've been to. I think I keep account. I actually do. I try to keep accurate records of all the stadiums that I've been to, and I post a map on Twitter every year of all the stadiums I've been to and all the teams that I've seen. I know I've been to. I think I've been to over 300 different stadiums in Texas,
Man.
and I think I've seen over 750 different teams play at some point in some capacity, so in person. So yeah, I mean, I think, and that's the other thing, I think it's important to, Texas is a huge state, and there's not a lot of people that get out and show face, because reporters that work, they generally are very regional, so they know their area, but they don't get out. And so I think it's a unique opportunity working for Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a statewide brand. At that token, it comes with, okay, we need to get out. Our offices are in Louisville, but we need to get out, and especially me being someone who's a front-facing journalist, and hit those other parts of the state, because high school football is important in every corner of the state, and it's a big deal. And I think we have a responsibility to cover that as best we can. We can't never be everywhere all the time. I wish we could hire 300 people and go to all these different games across the state, but that's not realistic. So I try to get out and move around and cover as many people as I can during the course of the season, and then supplement that with 7-on-7, supplement that with going to coaching clinics, supplementing that with coaching school, that kind of thing. You can kind of hit, I feel like we touch a really large percentage of the state of Texas at some point or fashion between all those different things.
Yeah, I was trying to describe coaching school to Jack. He's in South Carolina, where we're both from. He's coaching at the high school we went to. And I'm like, Jack, I can't, like, there's no way to describe coaching school. Like, it is a one of a kind thing. But in your best words, like, to describe it to somebody from, that's totally unfamiliar with it, how would you describe coaching school, Matt?
I'd say it's a little bit like AFCA.
Okay.
But I feel like coaching school I've only been to one AFCA. I feel like coaching school is bigger.
It feels huge, like, just being down
Part of
in
it's because you have all the sports. It used to be, coaching school used to be very football centric, and the Coaches Association was known as a football coaches association, which splintered kind of all the other offshoot coaching associations. The basketball coaches association, baseball coaches, the girls have a coaches association. Joe Martin, the executive director of THSCA, has done a really good job of outreach, trying to make sure that people know THSCA is for all coaches and not just football coaches. And so you have a lot of basketball coaches there, a lot of volleyball coaches there, a lot of track and field coaches there, baseball, softball. There's sport demonstrations going on, there's sport courts going on in this huge convention hall. It's a huge deal, and you get all the socials. The social scene is, it's a lot of fun. All the colleges are there, and they all have their own socials for their fans and alumni to show up. And so, like me, we get, our Dave Camp, we get invited. We have to literally put together a social schedule because we get invited to so many, and we want to make sure we attend as many as we can and show face. And so, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a lot of fun. And I mean, there's a lot of good ball talk going on. I mean, I'd say at coaching school, the ball talk is a lot more, clinic talk, so to speak, because it's a very high level. But it's not like, if you're really interested in talking to a coach, you can't pull them off to the side and get some good nuggets from them. But I feel like the real ball talk happens like during the winter clinic season in January, February. The smaller clinics you can get down there. Coaching school really is more about, I feel like coaching school is more about building That's what I tell young coaches. When young coaches ask me, like, what do you need to do at coaching school? I'm like, you need to make sure you network and build your relationships and meet guys and introduce yourself to as many guys as possible, because you just never know when that guy becomes an AD or that guy becomes a head coach, and he could be looking for an assistant coach and you're right there. So it's really about networking. And it's the same thing for us. We have a huge booth and set up at coaching school. We do a lot of coaches interviews. We bring our whole set out there. It feels kind of big time. People like it, and we sit down. We have 15-minute interviews of coaches, but we have people come by and get magazines and do stuff. We try to make it a fun experience. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy going to coaching school. It's a weekend I look forward to every year, and I would say if you're a coach who wants to get into Texas high school coaching, if you have the certification, if you can teach in Texas. If you want to get a job, you go to coaching school. I guarantee you will walk away with multiple job offers, because everybody's looking for coaches right now.
Yeah, and we've talked about it on here before about how we're in the people business, and a lot of coaching and really a lot of things in life is more who you know versus what you know, and that networking can be pivotal in your trajectory of things. So
100%.
I might have to come out there and check it out one time.
I'm telling you, Jack, I
'Cause
always
it's
swing
fun.
by y'all's. I always swing by y'all's booth and pick up my Texas football Bible. That's what I describe it to Jack as. I got a little collection growing over the years that I've been out here now. But I mean, you mentioned you've been to hundreds of different schools and things like that. Jack and I are a sucker for stadiums and just environments and just uniqueness. Is there anywhere that stands out that if you were talking to somebody from out of state, they would be like, what? This school does what at their home games? Or, just unique things that are particular to certain schools.
Well, first of all, if you're a stadium nut, I'll plug a website called texasbob.com.
Oh, we're familiar with Texas Bob.
You can, a lot of cool, I mean, I feel like, there's probably some traditions out there that I'm missing. And honestly, when I'm there covering a game, I'm generally in the press box and kind of locked in on what's going to happen on the field. I'm usually getting my spreadsheets together. I still like to go old school and take stats at a game and get my binoculars out. I've got like a whole setup, binoculars, pen and paper. I still like to write stuff down. I'm tweeting at the same time. I got my cell phone out. I've got a tablet because I'm watching other games online while I'm watching the game in front of me. So I miss a lot of the pregame traditions and things like that. But I know some of the cooler stadiums that I've been to. Somebody asked me this the other day, like, what are your top 5 stadiums in Texas, right? And I would say the ones that I've been to, number 1 is Jones Stadium in El Paso.
Jack, we looked at that one. That's the one where it's like the stadium goes into the back of the school?
Into the school, yeah. I've been to a game,
awesome.
and I'm only listing stadiums that I've been to games at. Like I have not been to the Puncher Dome in Mason. I plan on going this year because they're redoing the Puncher Dome, but I haven't been there yet. But Jones Stadium in El Paso is my number 1 stadium.
Yeah, that one is nuts. Holy crap.
Here's a unique thing about Jones Stadium is Friday Night Lights began at Jones Stadium. They are the first stadium to have a lighted Friday night football game.
Well, that's
in
cool.
history. I think in the 90s they put in some lights and had a Friday night football game there. Jones Stadium is very, very awesome. Love that place.
I mean, that is just insane how it...
Yeah, it's a cool... In the back, like El Paso, there's mountains. You're over... There's that back of the end zone, not the end zone with the bleachers, but the other end zone. It's like a 30-foot drop-off into the street. Like, it's crazy.
Holy
like, you could see...
cow.
It's an old stadium. They just built it where they could fit it. They kind of squeezed it in, right there. It's a cool stadium. Whereas Mexico is like right there. It's just a unique place. And we actually, the Dave Campbell's crew took, so the coach that was there at El Paso High at the time, he heard us talking about the stadium. He's like, you guys got to come out here and cover a game. And so I kind of, and this is, they don't share this stadium. It's their stadium. Well, and I kind of flippantly was like, well, we can't come out because Tepper's got to do the Friday night show and the scoreboard show. And so we can't come out. And he goes, what if I scheduled a game on Thursday? And we were like, well, come. And thinking he wouldn't do it. And when he sent us that schedule and he scheduled a Thursday game. And we all went out there as a group, and it was totally worth it. They loved it.
Well, the food was probably crazy good too.
They had great food. Yeah. They had great food. It was awesome. El Paso's a cool town. Have you ever been to El Paso? Is one of those places that it's closer to Los Angeles than it is Dallas. Like El Paso is way out west. Like it's a different time zone. Like El Paso is in a different time zone than the rest of Texas. It's a unique, but it's still Texas. They're very proud Texans, but it's got its own culture, its own unique identity. Beautiful, beautiful city. A lot of fun. It's a very safe city. You can go out time, the big military base there. It's just a cool place. But Jones Stadium is number one. My number two stadium is probably the Tomato Bowl in Jacksonville, Texas.
I was just in Jacksonville this weekend driving through for a powerlifting meet, Jack. I was going to talk to you about the Tomato Bowl.
The Tomato Bowl was an old WPA stadium that got remodeled about 5 years right before COVID. It got remodeled, and it's still downtown. The stadium is right in the middle of town on the main drag. And they remodeled it, put nice locker rooms in, nice press box, but still kept like the charm of that old school stadium. They did a great job kind of remodeling it and making it new, but still keeping that old school charm. And I love a stadium that's right in the middle of downtown where there's railroad tracks going behind one end zone.
Yeah.
The other end zone, there's like a McDonald's there, and people are, trucks are driving by honking their horns. It's just a cool vibe there. Number three, I would say probably is the Barry Center in Houston, Cy-Fair ISD.
No,
it's a unique stadium. It's beautiful. It's like got these arches. Yeah, and
you got it pulled up, Jack?
Yeah, the Barry Center's awesome.
Let's go see if I can find the Texas Spot page. But I got some pictures I can put up here.
Yeah, the Barry Center in Houston is awesome. If you've never seen a picture of it, it's a gorgeous high school. It's a newer stadium. It's a bunch of that's the basket. Yeah, there you go.
Well, yes.
So that's a basketball arena in the back of that. They play a lot of basketball.
This is the basket. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's their basketball.
Gorgeous complex.
Yeah, they do wrestling. I think the wrestling state championships are at the Barry Center in the basketball arena there. Well, that place, because of the basketball arena in one end zone, when they get a big crowd in there, it gets super, super loud because it holds all the noise in.
I was about to say, it probably boxes it in. It's kind of like we played our playoff game at the Star this year. First time I've done a game at the Star.
And it gets loud in there too.
Holy cow. Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't like it was like it wasn't completely full, but I mean, it was a solid crowd, but I could just hear it through the glass, and I was up in the press box, and I'm like,
it gets loud.
Rocking,
it gets loud. Number four, I would go with, I love Mesquite Memorial Stadium right there, not far from you in Forney. Yeah, you got the radio tower in the end zone. That place, when it opened, seated 20,000. It's a big stadium.
It's huge.
They remodeled it, made it more ADA accessible. So I think it only seats like 18.5 now. They took out some seats and that kind of thing. But great locker rooms, great press box. Mesquite ISD does a great job, and it's a unique thing with the radio tower. You can see on the left there the radio tower.
It looks like the daggum Eiffel Tower sitting in the end zone. Like you can find one on the Google.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's huge. They say a lot of our coaches. My boss, especially, a lot of them came from Mesquite whenever he got the job here at Forney.
Oh, Fleener.
Yes, sir. And he talked about the film that they used to be able to get off that thing was amazing. Man. Like they used to actually film the butt view and all that, but it looked like a drone because you're so high up in the air.
Yeah. It's a huge radio tower. It's just a unique thing. That they have. And then I'd say number five is probably Alamo Stadium in San Antonio. That's kind of the first stadium that was old rock BPA stadium that got remodeled to modern standards, but still kept its modern charm. Love Alamo Stadium. It seats the San Antonio UFL team played there, the San Antonio Outlaws, I think, or something. Back in the day, the World League American Football or whatever.
Is this the right one?
I think we looked at it. Does it have multicolored seats?
This the right one?
Yeah, Alamo Stadium. Yeah.
It's got retro vibe on the outside. Cool. I like that.
But they redid the press box. That's a new modern press box there, 2 levels. They got nice locker rooms now. It seats it was built. I think it seats about 19,000 as well. So you can get some big games in there. And they call it the Rock Pile, and it's an awesome place. It's a cool. So those are probably my top 5, and I've been to all those stadiums. So like I said, the Puncher Dome in Mason is the one that I've never been to that I want to go to. And
Jack and I think about a year ago we were talking about that one. Jack, that's the smaller school, but they got like a covered awning.
It's an old horse track. It's an old horse racing track. Yeah, the Puncher Dome in Mason, Texas.
Yeah, we got a lot of
the
Mason.
pictures of that stadium. So if you pull it up, that grandstand actually got destroyed in a tornado. And so the last 2 years they have not played. They've played at home, but they had to. That whole grandstand, everything got destroyed in a tornado, cool. And so they basically had a deer blind for a press box the last 2 years. But they're rebuilding it this year, and it's going to be ready for next football season. They've already broken ground on it and done all that. So once the new Puncher Dome is finished, I plan on going to a game in there in Mason, Texas, because
Now,
it's a unique.
is this the press box?
That's the press box, yeah.
How do you get in there?
I think there's a ladder on the backside or something.
yeah.
I think, but I don't know if I would trust that ladder very much.
I love a
It's
good
gonna be
ladder
honest.
up top. So I'm they're in our districts, but whatever. It's a cool spot. Lobo Stadium,
Wow.
Longview.
Yeah.
I love that spot. I like the way it's like surrounded by the trees. I like the way it's down in the hole.
Beautiful. Best
Like
popcorn in the state of Texas at Lobo Stadium. #1 rated popcorn, Lobo popcorn. And
after we beat them this year, they were ready to throw popcorn. So it was a little.
I'm telling you, Coach, if you have, when y'all play at Longview, either this year or next year, if you have not gotten Lobo popcorn, get you some Lobo popcorn.
I'm going to sneak me some while I go up in the while I climb up. There was one year, I think it was the first year we made the trip out there. I was climbing up a ladder, 5 hours before the game, get cameras or something set up. And I remember as I'm climbing up, there was like a hole in the concrete, and I swear I saw like a raccoon's nest or something down in there. So I'm like, all right, let me just keep going.
Texas.
But then this past year when we went, they're doing some construction out there, and so they weren't letting people on the ceiling anymore. And I'm like, dang, I kind of miss being up there with the industrial air conditioners and all that good
with
stuff.
The critters.
But yeah, up there, made me feel like South Carolina again. But
yeah, they're doing some remodeling. I think it's gonna be really nice once it's finished. Lobo Stadium is unique because the press box is actually built into the side of the school.
yeah, it's cool.
Like it's connected to the school.
I just love the way they do like their own little game day setup and all that for their streaming and stuff.
They have
like,
a great stream. Yeah, Longview game day. They have a very professional operation there in Longview. Football's a big deal out there.
No doubt. We found that out after we beat them, and they were chirping at their own guys as we're getting back on the bus. So it's like, hey, we better get out of here before this thing gets squirrely. But so we got the stadiums down pat. Jack is a huge uniform guy. All right, he's a sucker. He did equipment when he was at Clemson, so he's that's his realm. Are there any uniform combinations that stand out to you?
All right, #1 in the state of Texas for me, this is just me talking, is the Temple Wildcats.
Okay.
And they have a thing. It's called blue front, white back magic. If you look at their pants,
Let's say, Jack, pull up a picture here. Let's see this.
Wow.
On the surface, their uniforms don't look like much, but you have to look at the pants and look closely at the pants. And hopefully you can get a view of them. The front of the pants are blue and the back of the pants are white.
What? Interesting.
Blue front, white back magic. They are the only team in the state that has that uniform combination. I don't know how they came up with it originally, but here's a funny story.
Yeah, is it custom? Like what?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's customs. About 10, 15 years ago, they hired a guy as the head coach named Mike Spradlin. Okay, Mike Spradlin comes in, and Spradlin was an Under Armour guy. He liked Under Armour uniforms, and so when he got to Temple, he called Under Armour and was like, "Okay, I need you guys, to." And Under Armour told him they couldn't make the pants, and he basically told them, "Well, you're either going to make the pants, or I'm going to go with a different uniform provider because I'll get fired if I get rid of blue front, white back." And sure enough, Under Armour made it happen. So I'd say Temple's
crazy.
Yeah, and they have a saying. It's called blue front, white back magic. It's kind of when they were really rolling, they would have that blue front, white back magic, and I joked with their new head coach, Chad President, who's actually a Temple alum. I joked with him during 7-on-7 this year. Said, hey, I said, they had their nice, 7-on-7 uniforms, right? And they're out there playing. I was like, hey, man, you need to get the shorts. You need the shorts, get blue front, white back shorts if we're going to do it right. Sick. And he said, what's a great idea for next year. So maybe we'll see.
So they've always had this combo, even since this
for
is
a long
79.
time. Their original school colors were blue and white. And then Bob McQueen, who's their legendary head coach, he was there kind of right when integration happened in the late 60s, and he added the red as kind of a unifying thing because his thing was, we all bleed red. And so, doesn't matter what we look like on the outside, we all bleed red. And so he had added the red as part kind of a unifying thing for the community because,
yeah, that's cool.
I wasn't alive during that time, but I can imagine it was a difficult time just for people to get used to it. And, Temple's produced legends like Mean Joe Green is from Temple, Texas, the Hall of Famer.
Wow.
And then Kenneth, the running back for the Buffalo Bills, when they were rolling Kenneth Davis.
Yep.
He's from Temple. But Mean Joe Green actually went to Temple Dunbar during segregation times. He played in the PVIL and was a but he's from Temple, but he played at Temple Dunbar. He didn't actually play for Temple High. But yeah, Temple's
That's
blue front,
legit.
white back are probably my favorite. I've always had a soft spot for Converse Judson and their logo. I think they have a very unique logo and a very clean look with the red and gray.
Mhm.
It's just a unique logo. You know, you see a lot of schools now that'll kind of do plays on the professional or college teams' logos. And I feel like Judson is one of those schools that has a very unique logo and look that no one else has. It's their look and they have it and only they have it. And I think it's a unique look. And I like kind of the solid color scheme, the red and gray. It just looks really sharp.
About to say,
Is
Jack,
this
you gotta,
the?
because
Yeah, I
Judson
just figured out how to
Rockets.
spell it there for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah. That J Rocket
Oh,
helmet is kind of a unique thing that only they have. But I think it's a
That's
great look.
cool.
It's just a clean look and it's
Yeah.
historical and classic. And Judson was a powerhouse for a long time. Love that look for sure.
That's a good, yeah, I like the little two-tone look. That logo is nice. Like, you weren't kidding
Yeah,
about that.
it's just clean and
It's
it's
unique.
yeah, and it's theirs. When you see that J in the Rocket, you know that's Judson, and I like that. You know, gosh, who else has a really nice uniform that I like? I'd say anyone who rocks Carolina blue probably is a good look for me.
Powder blue look.
I think it's that powder blue. If you can rock powder blue with when Dallas Carter when they roll out a little bit of powder blue in their red jerseys, it looks really nice.
Yeah, that is
really
a solid
so.
combination. We're Clemson
Yeah.
fans, so like it's not our favorite color.
Sure, fair,
but it is
fair.
what it is. I mean, it's better than garnet for the Gamecocks, but
Yeah,
you got it pulled
But
up,
listen-
Jack.
yeah. I got a. I guess what you're talking about, where they have the light blue in there with it.
yeah. I
Is this
think it's a
right?
great look. Yeah, that's a great
Oh,
look. I
yeah.
love it when they rock the red. The baby blue really sticks out when you have the red.
Gives what Oilers, like the old Oilers.
Yeah,
Yeah, Houston
it's a
Oilers kind
retro
of
logo.
Yeah, it's a solid look. I love it. And
Yeah, the
talking about
white.
Longview, I like what they do when they
yeah.
when Longview's tradition is they have a very traditional look. They're green and gold and white. But during the playoffs, their thing was they would bust out the yellow socks during the playoffs. So they would have your yellow socks with the dark green uniform and the yellow socks pop. But they only did that during the playoffs. You had to get to the playoffs before you got to the yellow socks.
Had to earn it now. Yeah, we played Longview
Yeah.
this year, and they Patrick Mahomes, he's got these new Adidas uniforms that several schools in East Texas, I think, got for this year. Longview broke them out, debuted them against us this year, and we're sitting there pregame, just kind of joking around and stuff. We're like, if we end up beating these guys and they're wearing something a little bit different than what they've always worn, they're going to be burning these uniforms like somewhere in town down the street. And sure
I
enough,
don't
we
think they
won, and it
wore
was
'em.
like,
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
don't
they
know.
wore them the rest of the year.
I don't know if they did either, but
Yeah.
sorry, Patty,
Yeah.
but White House is probably still rocking them for sure.
I'm quite sure White House is rocking them. Yeah.
Let's see here. Mascots. One last thing, because you've seen all of them. Jack and I did an episode on mascots like probably a year ago or so, wasn't it, Jack? And so he
Yeah,
loved the Mesquite Skeeters. He got a good chuckle out of that
It's
one.
a pretty
So that's
kick. Yeah,
hard
it's pretty
hard to beat.
awesome.
To
It's
describe, it was-
pretty funny to see a mosquito dancing around on the sideline.
Well, he asked if it was like a little.
Mesquite
He asked
game.
if Lil John was an alum or something like that, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't think that. I think it's a
No,
mosquito.
not that kind of skeeting. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man,
But
but
PG, it's PG podcast.
let's see. What were some other ones?
But yeah, it's hilarious to see a big old mosquito dancing around on the sideline. You
Yeah.
know, and their mosquito's called Stormy, I think. Stormy the Skeeter.
Interesting. All right, I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, Stormy. Yeah, Stormy the Skeeter. Yeah.
I've been
But are
around
there
high school
any-
kids too much.
I hear
gotta-
you.
Yeah, you gotta get your
I'm
mind
not
out
sure
of
how
it,
many
dude.
high school kids can handle that with the level of maturity that we can.
But are there any other ones that maybe we miss
Man,
whenever?
there's so many. I mean, there's a little town in West Texas. It's the name of the town is Winters. Okay, Winters,
This one.
Texas, right?
Yeah,
Their mascot's the Blizzards.
that's
And
a
then
solid play,
they-
ain't it, Jack?
Then they played. Then we had the Ice Bowl this year in Week 1. Winters played Frost, Texas. Okay,
You can't make this
Frost-
stuff up.
Frost's mascot is the Polar Bears.
Holy cow!
So you had the Blizzards and the Polar Bears playing the Ice Bowl.
in Texas. Well, I guess it snows more out there than it does here. So
I
I,
mean,
don't
you get
know.
up in the
Well,
panhandle.
it was 107 degrees at first.
Yeah.
It was August 28th. It was hot. I love the Hamlin Pied Pipers,
Ooh,
Oh, I hadn't heard of that
the-
one.
the Wellington Skyrockets. Most famous one is probably the Itasca Wampus Cats.
The Wampus Cats.
yeah.
I love the El Paso Del Valle Conquistadors.
That's cool.
Amazing run through. Their run through is like a conquistador with a sword, and they run through. It's awesome.
Jack couldn't believe we had an actual jackrabbit head that we run
Heck
out
yeah.
of.
Note on El Paso
that
Del
is
Valle.
huge.
Best press box spread in Texas, without a doubt, is in El Paso Del Valle. What they do is they have 5 home games, and they have 5, I don't know if it's still called home ec, but they have 5 home ec classes. And each class period is assigned a home game, and it is their job to cook the meals, home cooked, and cater. So you're sitting there, and a kid is like, Mr. Stepp, would you like something else to eat? Like, you want a refill? And it's like all home cooked, like enchiladas, fajitas, brisket tacos, homemade rice and beans. They made all the desserts were homemade. Like, just
Dude, that's legit.
How's the restroom set up in the press box? Pretty solid then?
not great.
plumbing?
It's not a very big press box, so you gotta tread lightly, or you're gonna be making a run for the border at halftime. If you know what I mean. So, but amazing press box food. Also, the scariest run through, Coach Wardlaw or Coach Jack, you can Google this. The Grandview zebras, or the zebras, is my wife is from South Africa and Canada, so she says the zebras. That is the proper pronunciation, but we southern it up and say zebras.
Yeah.
But they have the scariest mascot. It's a insane looking zebra that they run through.
Oh man.
It's got
right.
flaming red eyes. It's insane. It's
get
the
this over here.
angriest looking zebra you've
I was
ever
about to say, I
seen.
think when I was watching the
Hold
state
on.
games this year, I saw
We
him
talked
pull
about
that
it because
out.
we talk about the insane
Man.
zebra that you run out of the tunnel in. By the way, Grandview's uniforms are super underrated. The Cincinnati Bengals look with the black stripes,
Yeah.
as well. It's a really cool look.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
the
clean.
zebra run
That
through is
insane.
look at that zebra. It's demented.
Yeah,
I
the
look at that
eyes like
thing.
flash red. I remember that
Yeah,
part for
yeah,
sure.
it's crazy. So man,
Holy
the
Where do
Grandview
you order
zebras.
that, man? Like, who sells that? Like,
There's
I don't-
you'd be there is a
Hey,
that's
you
the other
go-
thing at coaching school. There's all kinds of companies that sell
Yes,
everything
yes.
you could
Yeah,
ever
you go to
want
coaching
at
school,
coach.
you'll see it, man. They'll pitch it to you.
They'll
from
have some of
jackrabbits
the-
to zebras. I mean, you can get all of it, right?
Listen, I mean, a conquistador is. I've seen a bullfrog that the Lake Worth bullfrogs, and they run out of a bullfrog that's squatting, looking like it's constipated. So Lake Worth bullfrogs. So yeah, it's you get it all. So it's fun.
Man.
The run throughs are I do enjoy the schools. There are some places like Katy, traditional power in Houston. They don't have a run through. Their cheerleaders still every week do a run through sign, and the kids run through.
We
And
were,
I appreciate that little bit of nostalgia.
yeah, we do a.
I could take or leave the run throughs, but I guess the kids in the booster club get a kick out of it. So
Yeah, we're kind of old fashioned too. Like I like the old giant sign. You run through the sign. Of course, I think ours they morph all together to where you go through a run through and then go through a sign, and then I don't know, they just stagger
yeah,
it
it's a
all,
whole
but
production now. It's a
Yeah,
whole huge
it's,
deal. It's a production now.
Anyway,
It's
whatever gets all
mostly
the
for the
kids involved.
parents and the cheerleaders and the booster club. I think the football kids probably just like, okay, whatever. Let's play.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, shoot, Matt, I promise you we wouldn't take too much of your time. We'd love to do it again sometime because I feel like, again, you've been doing this for a while. You've been all these different spots that, I can only hope that we get them on the schedule so I can go experience some of these different
Let's go.
spots
Tell
myself.
Fleener to schedule El Paso Del Valle so you can get some.
We already had to make the trip to College Station 2 years ago. I've done it 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
Again, I've made that drive.
yeah.
Barbers Hill for the playoffs. Like we've done some road trips to El Paso.
Yeah, I would. Fleener's probably cursing me right now talking about that. So
No. But is there anywhere for the folks that are listening that aren't maybe familiar with Texas, if they wanted to keep up with you, because we've actually had some folks from Maine, all these different places that now they're kind of keeping up with random high schools in South Carolina and here in Texas.
Sure.
But if they want to keep up with you, how can they reach out to you best?
So for me personally, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm still a big Twitter guy. It's at Matt_Stepp817, and that's Matt with 2 T's, Stepp with 2 P's. I'm pretty active on Twitter. A lot of high school football, a lot of coaching changes, but you'll get some food tweets. Maybe during baseball season, I'll complain about the Baltimore Orioles a little bit, that kind of thing. Or I complain about the Cowboys during football season. That's like my one football team that I actually can watch as a fan. Put away my sports writer hat and just be emotionally invested in them.
Yep.
But also a lot of my work is on TexasFootball.com. We have, if you want to support my work, the best way to support my work is by subscribing. If you click on one of my articles, it's a subscription article, and then you subscribe, that goes directly back to me and supports my work. We have all kinds of cool stuff on TexasFootball.com, articles, podcasts. During the season, we do rankings. We have rankings of all the teams, every team in Texas from 1 to 1,100. We rank them all. We do, they're not point spreads, but they're game predictions that we have, so we'll, say teams favored by 7, that kind of thing. We'll predict them to win by 7. We have all that. Premium podcasts. I do a premium podcast with my editor, Greg Tepper. We call it Tepp and Stepp. We call it the Nerdcast. It's really like nerdy Texas high school football stuff. We go once a month during the off season, but then during the season we go every week. And then also part of our subscription, we'll mail you a magazine, the Bible of Texas Football, the Dave Campbell's summer edition, which will be out in late May, early June. Our subscribers get that magazine 2 weeks before it hits the newsstands. We mail it directly to your house. It previews every single team in the state of Texas. It's a reason it's called the Bible. It's a 400-page magazine, and we cover every team in the state of Texas, top to bottom. We've been around since 1960. Treasure Texas high school football. Additionally, we will mail you with the subscription, we will also mail you our recruiting magazine in around Thanksgiving time, which is a prospect magazine that our recruiting editor, Greg Powers, does. So if you're into recruiting, you can do that. And then also comes with that subscription is Texan Live, which is our streaming platform. We stream a ton of high school football games during the season, but we also stream basketball, volleyball, water polo, soccer, baseball, softball. We basically stream everything but track and field on Texan Live, and we have a lot of schools that are signed up, and so you can watch a ton of games during the regular season and the playoffs. So I feel like for everything that we offer, it's a really good value for our subscription. So, and like I said, that subscription supports me and my fellow journalists there at TexasFootball.com.
You guys do a wonderful job. It was one of the biggest eye-opening things when I moved out here was Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And I like to show my collection off the jack of all my magazines and stuff like that I've been getting over the years. But, yeah, we can't appreciate you guys enough. Y'all do a great job covering the sport and putting the good word out there. And, again, we appreciate your time joining us here tonight on a Monday.
When Coach Jack comes to visit you one day, you guys should come by the office. And we have every magazine from 1960 to now.
That'd be sick.
I'm there.
In our office. We have a whole wall, the magazine covers and everything. And so, we have, you can see our studio. We have a cool setup. We have a cool office right there in Louisville that coaches are welcome to visit. And some coaches do come by. So,
hey, don't tempt me with a good time. We'll be there, man. We appreciate it, Matt. Have a good night.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you guys.
See you, man.
You locked in now with the 4th and wall. Fourth and wall. Adam. Jay. Texas. Carolina. We out.